Welcome to the Sacad Guled Show, your front row seat to the journeys of leaders, innovators, and change makers, redefining what's possible. Today, my special guest, my friend Rosilynn. Welcome, Rosilynn.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
How are you? How's everything? Before I get to introduce people who you are, how's everything?
It's good. It's good. I'm moving along and yeah, things are going well.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you for coming down. My people and my listeners, Rosilynn is a licensed independent clinical social worker, LICSW, which I'm very familiar with, and a founder of Find Your Peace, a mental health private practice that supports people across the lifespan of navigating complex trauma. Rosalynn's work centers those often marginalized by traditional systems and transracial adoptees and individual impacted by early childhood trauma. Very important topic that we're going to talk about today. Roslyn, again, welcome to the show, and
Thank
I really
you.
want to deep dive to what do you do.
Yeah.
So talk to us about how your work involves in the community and how important mental health in general, how important it is.
Yeah. Well, I feel like talking about mental health is my bread and butter. So put a quarter in me and I'm ready to go.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah.
Yes. No, I think like again when I started Find Your Peace, I thought like, okay, we're just going to do therapy. Like my mission I felt like was very simple. I wanted to work with people and I wanted to work mostly with like black and brown people who have just like experienced lots of things in their life and I thought that that would just kind of be my one lane, but as I've started, I've realized like being or having a private practice is more than just therapy. It's also being a voice in the community, an advocate, an educator. So I've also really, in addition to mental health, like expanded my work to support like mental health trainings and workshops that really dismantle, I think, a lot of the stigma that happens within communities of color and just help seeking behavior in general. So,
Awesome, awesome. And I know as a family friend who've known you for quite some time, I know the work that you put in, how much of a family-oriented person that you are, because I'm talking about from personal experience. Rosalind and I are a family, we're friends, and I know the type of work that she does for our communities. Knowing that you find your peace, how would you say it has been going versus you working for someone else, maybe the county or the city or stuff like that?
yeah, it's bananas. I feel like, again, I went to school to become a therapist. I didn't go to school to run a business. So, all of this is like I'm walking in the dark, like I'm just kind of honestly winging it. And it is crazy because when you think about like grad school and even in undergrad, it's like they prepare you to always work under somebody, under this like community mental health umbrella, whether it be like in the hospital or at an agency. It was never like working for yourself. And so when I decided, like, no, I've been in the field for 5 years, I want to do this on my own and I want it to feel authentic to me. There's a learning curve.
Yes, yes.
And I think even now, like being 1 year in, like 1 year in, there's so much I still don't know about running a business. But I've been just trying to stay true to my values and the things that feel important for me and kind of use that as my guide as I kind of build and learn.
Awesome. Yeah, no, personal values are very, very important. What would you say has been the biggest difference between you working at a 9 to 5 versus running your business?
Oh my God, my own mental health.
Okay.
Like, I could not stay in community mental health for my own mental health, like just again, very rigid hours and the background noise of community mental health, the micromanagers, the systems in place, the power differentials. Like, I couldn't do that for so long because like, it was negative for my own mental health. And so I think the biggest difference is that now, at least when I'm stressed, it's like my doing. It's
Mhm.
not like I'm stressed because I don't feel supported or valued by my supervisor, or I'm managing an unsustainable caseload and I have like no say about it. Now it's like I get to build what feels healthy for me. Finding clients that feel like a good fit, not just because I'm told that that's who I
You
need
need
to
to work
work
with.
with. Or even just like hours, like I'm a mom and working in community mental health, there were some very rigid rules about things. And it's like, I got daycare hours I need to follow. And so I think by the end, I was just so burnt out that now it feels so refreshing to be just in full charge of all the things for my practice.
No, no, I really couldn't agree with you more. When people try to micromanage and they feel like work comes for families, anything, we all know how important family is. There was a video on TikTok, yesterday that I saw, a UPS driver. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, mm-mm.
He told his supervisor that someone called him from his daughter's school,
Yeah,
and they told him that she needs an attention and he
yeah.
needs to, come to the school right away.
Mhm.
Told that to his supervisor and said, "Sorry, you don't have any PTO, you can't leave."
Ugh,
And the guy just he threw the keys away,
yeah,
left, and said, "My daughter and my family comes before anything." Is
yeah.
that something that you'd
Yeah,
agree?
it, like, gave me chills.
I'm
It
so
gave me
sorry. I
no,
didn't
no, it's
really-
okay because I think you nail it, like,
yeah.
it is, like, there's this loyalty in a sense that, jobs make it feel like this is your only option, like, we have control over you. There's this big, I guess, again, power differential, and
Mhm.
it's, at the end of the day, like, no, my life, my mental health, my family, the things that are important to me,
Comes first.
those things come first. So yeah, I respect that story of that UPS driver. Good for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was, because as a father of three kids, it really aligned with my values and what I believe in as well.
Yeah.
We all know that working hard is nice,
Mhm.
leaving a mark. But sometimes with certain things, you can't really. It's not negotiable. So
Yeah.
for me, family is not negotiable for me.
Yeah.
So I really understand that. Russell,
Mhm.
a lot of people hear the word trauma and don't really know what that means. Could you really touch on that and how, in a simple way, what it means and how would people know us, what
Mm.
trauma is?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think people you can use it in a lot of different ways, right? Like people there's like obviously social media definitions of like trauma dumping or, talking about all the hard things, but I think in general like trauma is something that has like very much disrupted your life in some capacity or your sense of safety. And what I might consider traumatic might not be traumatic for you. However, it's so interesting, and I think in having my practice, like, there are so many people in my life or not in my life, in my practice that I've met or just people in general who are like, "Oh, I have no trauma," or I never, like, went through hard things," and then I ask them about, like, their childhood, and they start talking about things, and I'm like,
What's
"What?
going on?
What's going on?"
Yeah.
And it's interesting because people will be like, "Well, back then I never called it trauma, but now as an adult I realize like that was neglect." Or, like, wow, I really experienced homelessness and had that be like a consistent theme throughout my life. Like that is a trauma. So again, anything I think that has shaken a person's sense of self, sense of safety, or yeah, just been really disruptive emotionally, mentally, physically, and then I think trauma also lives in the body, right? So like you hear people who maybe they don't have memory of the trauma or, I try not to think about those things, but their body still reacts, when somebody raises a voice or certain images or like they see a car that resembles something. It's like their body sometimes reacts. And so again, I think it can mean differently for different people, but
Oh,
yeah.
well, I didn't even know that. Thanks for educating us and the other people who are watching. Is
Yeah.
it possible to overcome trauma? How hard is it?
I think it's definitely possible. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it is possible. And I think one of the misconceptions about therapy and working with people who have trauma is like, I am not here to fix you. Like, there is nothing wrong with you. What I want to help you is like recognize all of the resilience factors that you have made it through to like get you to this point, and how can we build your toolbox so that you can continue functioning in a way that feels, you know, balanced and within your control. So I do, yes, it is possible, and it also takes a lot of courage and intentionality as well.
And thank you for explaining that. And for those who really, because I know therapy works through that. For those who don't believe in therapy, especially in our communities,
Yeah.
who really try to ignore the noise and say, okay, you're doing good, you don't need that,
Mhm.
talk about how important therapy is, and what would you tell those people who are against therapy?
Well, I think it's interesting, and I think you bring in a good point of, like, specifically people, again, who just, like, who don't believe in it, and I guess the reality that I think about is, like, when you're sick or say you are I know you play basketball, so say you are playing basketball and you roll your ankle or something and it's really hurting and, like, man, you're gonna go get that checked out,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
you're gonna go see a professional. Or say you wake up with a sore throat and you've got, swollen tonsils, you're gonna go seek a professional. And so I think in the same way, when you've been through some shit, you've seen some things, like your body is still reacting to that, like, you should take care of that. You should get support. And so I think just normalizing, like, it's not bad to get support for your mental health. Like, it's equally as important,
To anything else that
to
happens. No,
anything
and
else. Yeah.
the reason why I said that is, as Somali person in my communities, even though things have changing now, um, therapy or stuff like that could be really, could be really difficult with some people. So
Yeah.
you really talk about that, because I think in general, as human beings, always third voice helps. We're talking about any type of therapy, marriage
Yeah.
therapy, any trauma therapy, and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And I think you telling us it's good to normalize, to
Yeah.
be okay with therapy
Yeah.
is really important, because people could have some disruptive, thoughts in their
Mhm.
past lives, and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And
Right.
but when will be a time that you would say, okay, enough is enough, if somebody is going through something in their lives, right?
Yeah.
And things small as even work, because a lot of people think when you talk about mental health, it's like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But it could be something in your day-to-day lives,
Right.
the way I see it, because when you're
Mhm.
stressed at work, as a
Yeah.
business owner, when you put up all of these hours, what would be something that you would say, okay, um small daily habit of mental health can really help you overcome? What would Can you talk about
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, like, again, there's the people who are high achievers who do it all, who on the outside looking in, they've got it all together. And that's great. And I usually will say something like, but who takes care of you?
Yeah.
Like, you hold it all together. You are the person everyone goes to for support. But it's like even superheroes need a sidekick
Yeah,
every
yeah,
once
yeah,
in a
yeah. Yeah,
while.
for sure, for sure.
So again, I use a lot of humor. I try to normalize things. I think I also try to acknowledge too the reasons people don't seek mental health care. Like, there's so many different tangents I could go on, but I mean, just thinking about a few, like, I think medical distrust, number 1, of, is this therapist really going to understand me or my culture or the way that I do things? Are they going to speak my language? Are they going to look like me? I think that's one thing in itself. I think there's, like, the generational impact of, in my day, talking to somebody about my family's business, like, that is, like, that is not something that we do, or that would be frowned upon. That would be seen as disrespectful. So I, like, also acknowledge that. I also think things like religion, right? So people who perhaps they were taught, well, if you have problems and you're just not, as strong of, you don't have as strong of faith, or you need to pray about it versus go talk to somebody. So again, I think that there's layers to all of it. But again, I think my, like, go-to response is, yeah, to mix a little humor, but
Yeah.
also try to, again, humanize it. Like, it's normal. It's okay.
No.
Even the strongest ones can ask for support
Oh, definitely. You don't
sometimes.
have to really act tough inside, and I think it's healthy to kind of, not bottle up things and
Yeah.
really be you, right? And because we all can be a kid at heart sometimes, right? How important is self care? Self love. Do you wanna
Yeah.
touch that? I know, as a man, lately, with a busy guy, um, I try to dedicate one day to give it to myself,
Yeah.
because I love myself. I'm my
Mhm.
biggest supporter. I'm my biggest
Yeah.
fan, because not everybody will. take care of you as much as you can take care of yourself, right?
Right.
So for example, the self-care day that I have is the day that I got my haircut, the day that I
Mhm.
really if I have to go get a massage, the day
Mhm.
that I really, it's just all about me, all
Yeah.
about me, nobody else, not my kids,
Mhm.
not my wife, not my family. It's the day that I really dedicate my that time to myself. How important is that? Do you wanna?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, and I think also, like, that it, like, humanizes us too, right?
Mhm.
Like, I feel like we all could get better at self-care, and I think in that same way that you were saying how some people feel like mental health has to be this big grandiose gesture, or you had to have had so many big things happen to you in order for it to be helpful, I feel like self-care is almost the same way. Like, while, yes, I would love to do a full day of, like, massage and, like, yummy coffee and just having time by myself. I also recognize that, again, self-care is maybe just going through the drive-through and getting a good, like, caramely delicious drink. Like, again, that could be self-care. Or I'm gonna go on a 10-minute walk and just, like, listen to my favorite playlist. Like, that's self-care. It also doesn't have to be, like, "Oh, shoot, I'm not gonna have enough time to do a massage." It's like, "Okay, but what can you do that, like, fills up your own cup?"
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, definitely. It's I take that to heart, and I've learned that in these past couple of years, that self care is like really, really important.
Mhm.
Um, let's get back to the journey of healing. What are the most common challenges that you see as somebody starts their healing journey? What will be some challenge that really come in the way as a therapist? Could you touch that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends, like, everybody who comes in or, like, presents to therapy has their own stuff, and so it can be a lot of things, but I think, um, initially one of the things that comes to mind is, like, distrust. For me as a therapist, like, I recognize that going in and establishing care, that is something that I need to work for. I need to earn your trust to show you this is a safe place that you really can, like, let go of those walls, and so I think sometimes that beginning phase is, like, we gotta put in some work a little bit for us to feel, "Okay, I'm starting to trust you. I know that you're predictable. I know that you're consistent. This is safe. Now I can start to peel back the layers." So I think there's that. But then there's also people who are like, I have been waiting, all my
Yeah,
life to have somebody to finally listen to me, to finally understand why this was such a big deal."
yeah.
Um, and then I don't know, I think there's also yeah, I mean, again, it's not so much now as I have my own private practice, and it's like I feel like people are, more predictable and, like, showing up. But I think when I was working in community mental health, like, there was also so many systemic things, right? So, like, if yes, I'm establishing care for therapy, but if I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight,
Yeah.
that's the last thing on my priority is
Yeah.
getting to that therapy appointment. Or, I'm supposed to meet with this therapist consistently, or I'm supposed to do parent-child work, but parent has to work and they're a single parent. This is the only way they're gonna get their income. Going to work is gonna go before therapy. And so I think that was also, I think, a barrier to care that I often saw in more of, like, the community mental
Yeah.
health
No,
settings.
that's really nice, and it all goes back to especially in our communities. As men, for example, when we talk about, it's good to open up to people, either your close family members or even your wife, husband, or whatever the case may be, or even your therapist. A
Mhm.
lot of men, especially within the African communities, believe that it's a weak point. And if you open up to, for example, your wife, it's constantly, I come across, social media posts that says, "Do not open up to your woman,
Mm.
because she can use those against you later."
Mm.
What would you say about things like that in terms of healing process or in terms of a therapist? How would you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like it's tough because I think it's like I wanna understand what experiences have you had that you've tried to open up to somebody and it just hasn't gone well, or they have used it against you, because I feel like that's the hurt part, you know? And so because you've been hurt, you've become like, "I need to play my cards close. I don't let people in." And so my thing would be like, "Well, but what happens if she listens?" Or
okay.
like, or what happens if you talk about it and they give you a hug or they say, like, I hear you. Like, what would that feel like? And is it possible?
For sure. And for me, I'm like, not everybody's the same. You can't really generalize,
Yeah.
everybody. You
Mhm.
can't really be scared and say, oh, if I open up to my significant other, they're going to use that against me
Yeah.
instead of, this could really help me heal, or it even eases my mind.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing a lot of that since COVID.
Mm.
And this is interesting actually to get back to that. How much of, mental health getting worse since COVID? Because I know when COVID happened, a lot of us have been, at homes, not able to have a lot of human interaction.
Mhm.
Have we really progressed? Did we really improve mental health? Do you wanna touch
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because 'cause I'm sure that there's research on there that showed, like, oh, man, like, there's been an increase in, the need for mental health services, but I think what I see more so in my experience of, like, directly since COVID is I actually feel like it because telehealth became such a big thing, like, I think that there's actually been expansions of, like, mental health services and really recognizing, like, okay, if I am seeking a therapist, I don't just need to be restricted to the 5-mile radius around my house. Like, I can kinda shop around for a therapist as long as they're in my state that really is a good match, because I can see them, through telehealth. So, I actually feel like it's, been really helpful in that way since COVID, to just, yeah, see
Yeah.
people virtually.
No, definitely, definitely. And is it something that you see that people should do more often? For example, um, I know during COVID, we didn't have a lot of, freedom in terms of, going around or going out to eat with friends
Mm,
and stuff like that. How important it is to sometimes step out of your comfort zone, because you
yeah.
could be you could be a homebody, right? Somebody
Mhm.
that don't like going outside. But in terms of because if you want to link that through mental health, how
Mhm.
important it is to socialize and not
Yeah.
try to get stuck at home and say, hey, I'm a homebody, I'm just gonna be on my
Yeah.
couch watching TVs and stuff like that. Talk about how important it is to socialize, make some friends, and sometimes forget about everything and just work on your mental health.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hard, like, I feel like nobody talks about how hard it is to make friends as an adult,
Yes, 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 yes.
like, when you like, I have a daughter who is little and you have little kids, like,
Yeah.
little kids at a park, like, you watch them and they just are, like, on the swings that are the monkey bars, and they'll just, like, stand there and, like, get closer and closer, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, "You wanna play with me?" And then you, like, chase each other around,
Yeah.
and I feel like in adulthood, it is harder, like, you have to be intentional about, like, connecting with people, and I think, like, you can be a homebody, like, I know I definitely love to sit around and be at my house, but I also know that connection and being around people and that's also good for me, so sometimes it is kinda like, okay, you just gotta fake it till you make it a little
Yeah.
bit or force yourself to leave the house to connect, which again, it's like, before I'm a therapist, I'm a human, so it's like, these
Yeah.
are all things that I'm also working on myself too, so
No, no, for sure. And I used to, like, back in the day, I wasn't a big fan of like going out every day or
yeah,
making new friends or whatnot. But I
yeah,
also learned the importance of stepping out of the house,
yeah,
because all of your troubles sometimes can come from you sitting in a room by yourself
yeah,
quietly, right? Because you
mhm,
don't know what's going on through your mind. You have all of
right,
these different thoughts. So I think it is important to step out of the house sometimes,
yeah.
even if you make a new friend for a night or for a
Yeah,
day, right? Just to feel like
yes,
you're mentally doing great.
mhm.
Rosalind, what is something that you want to tell our communities? One thing that you want to um, say, this is the most important thing as a community about mental health.
Honestly, like, I think the most important thing is, like, finding a therapy or a therapist that you truly trust, somebody that you genuinely click with. I think there's almost this idea that therapy is like you just kind of get who you're assigned or you don't have any autonomy to like choose, but it's almost kind of like dating in a sense, right? Like you don't just jump into a relationship with somebody or jump into a friendship. Like you kind of have to suss them out a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
meet with a number of therapists before you decide. Because I think every therapist has a different style. There's like this TikTok trend I've seen of like therapists then, and it's like all of these just like black and white pictures of like white men, and it's like therapists now, and
Yeah.
there's so many different types of therapists and people out there. And so I think finding, somebody that you feel like is just like a good match is really important.
No, I agree with you. Somebody that you really trust, somebody that
Mhm.
you really know they got your back,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they will, respect your privacy, because I think that's a big one too.
Yeah.
Where people need to be respected,
Mhm.
and because sometimes, as a social media influencer, you see all sort of videos. You'll see some independent, I wouldn't say therapists, but like accountants, videographers, whatever, just talking about their clients' business. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's
Yeah.
that's like a huge no.
Yeah, no bueno.
So yeah, right. So
Not
definitely
good.
somebody that you trust, somebody that you really have
Mhm.
a confidence.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. So I
Mhm.
really agree with you. Anything else that we learned from Rosalind today?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, just sticking with the trust thing and again, like the privacy. I also think, therapy is not just a place of where it's just sadness and like dread and like heaviness. I also feel like therapy is a place of like joy and celebrating the milestones and the wins. And so again, finding somebody that can also be with you in that sense too. And so like I often say to my clients, like, if you're looking for a therapist that's gonna be, very cut and dry and like strictly business and never gonna show emotion, like I'm probably not the one for you.
Awesome.
But if you want somebody who can sit in the hard stuff with you, but also crack up with you when you make like a joke that like we'll get to the bottom of in a little bit, but like I'm gonna laugh with you first.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, definitely.
Mhm.
Rosalind, I appreciate you coming down today. We
Thank
learned
you.
so much from you, and I hope your business, keep
Yes.
getting bigger.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to sending people on your way.
Yes.
We will make sure that most of our followers and listeners will find you through tagging you in our platforms. But
Perfect.
I'm so honored to learn about you
Yeah.
from the therapist side, not the friend
Yes,
side.
yes,
And
yes.
this has been really a very fun conversation.
Yes, thank you,
No,
thank
really,
you.
really appreciate you. We'll
Mhm.
see you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.